You were there, though you do not remember. You stood in the garden, when the wind still carried the voice of the Lord, when the stars bowed to the morning light, and the rivers whispered secrets to the trees. You saw the first man breathe. You saw him rise from dust, warm, startled, and alone. And beside him, not a rib, but a reflection. She too rose from the earth, not from beneath him, not behind, not under, but equal. Eyes like fire, voice like wind. They were made of the same dust. But dust does not obey dust. Earth cannot rule over earth. And when he said, "Lie beneath me," she replied, "We are the same. I will not." And from that moment, the garden cracked. She left, or was driven, or vanished. The thrones were silent, the angels were stirred, and heaven for the first time watched as a woman chose exile over submission. Her name? You do not find it in Genesis. You do not hear it on holy lips, but it is written between the lines, in the space where silence shouts. Lilith, the woman before Eve, the first, the forgotten, the feared. Now ask yourself, why was she erased? And what does her absence say about your own? Subscribe if you're ready to unlock the secrets never told, and comment 777 if you're ready for the hidden knowledge. In the beginning, when the breath of God hovered over the void, and light tore through the darkness like a sword, man was not alone for long. The dust was shaped, the form was breathed into, and Adam, the one of the red earth, opened his eyes beneath a sky untouched by sin. But the Lord, in his wisdom, knew that it was not good for the man to be alone. And so, according to the old scrolls not read in your church, not spoken from pulpits, there was another act of creation, not of bone, but of balance. The Alphabet of Ben Sira, a text whispered about in candlelight by scribes who dared to read what others would burn, speaks of her. She was formed, like Adam, from the earth, not from his body, but beside it, equal in form, equal in breath, equal in dignity. Her name was Lilith, and for a time they dwelt together, two beings of dust, two beings of thought, two souls staring into the mirror of the other. But equality demands harmony, and harmony demands humility, and neither bowed. Adam sought dominion, Lilith sought freedom. When they joined, the joining was not one of joy, it was war. He demanded she lie beneath him, not only in body, but in soul. She refused. And in that refusal, a new thing entered creation. Not sin, not yet, but rebellion. A rebellion not against God, but against order, or what Adam called order. So Lilith did the unthinkable. She spoke the name not spoken, the name guarded by seraphim and thunders, the ineffable tetragrammaton, YHW, spoken from lips made of clay. And with it, she vanished. Not died, not cast down, vanished. To where? To the wilderness beyond Eden, to the edge of the firmament, to the shadow realms where angels tremble and demons are born. But she was not evil, not yet. She was free, and freedom in the mouth of a woman is dangerous. The angels, troubled by her escape, pleaded with the Lord, and he, patient, just, silent, did not strike her. Instead, he sent 3 angels, Senoi, Sansonoi, Semengaloth. They found her beside the Red Sea, a place where waters boil and unformed spirits wander. They pleaded, they demanded, they warned. Return, they said, return to your place. Be the helper, the mother, the vessel. But she would not. And in that refusal, the heavens wept. For she who was made to bear life now bore sorrow. She became a spirit of the night, a watcher, a whisperer, the mother of winds and wailing. But is that who she truly was? Or is that what we made of her? Stories shape souls, and to forget a woman is to forget something of yourself. You, listener, you have heard the story of Eve, the one made from bone, the helper, the deceived, the cursed. But you have not heard the story of Lilith, the one made of dust who chose to walk away. And ask yourself this: which story feels more like your own? Are you the one who obeyed and was cursed, or the one who defied and was exiled? Perhaps you are both. Perhaps all of us are. You were told that woman came after man, that she was made for him, that her purpose was to serve, to support, to follow. But what if that was not the whole story? What if the first woman, the one born of the same earth, breathed by the same spirit, was not made to follow, but to stand? Lilith was that woman, and because she stood, she was silenced. The rabbis wrote of her in footnotes. The mystics spoke of her with trembling lips. Mothers warned their daughters not to speak her name, not because she was evil, but because she remembered a freedom the world had buried. She was said to be a mother of demons. But what is a demon if not a name we give to what frightens us? She was accused of stealing babies in the night. But what if the real fear was that she would steal back the truth? That women are not made of ribs. They are made of dust. The same breath, the same fire. And Lilith's fire was never extinguished. In Babylonian legends, she appears as Lilu, a wind spirit. In the Zohar, she dances with Samael, the angel of death. In dreams, she appears veiled in crimson, barefoot on the mountains, whispering in forgotten tongues. She is everywhere, in lullabies, in nightmares, in the edge of mirrors, in the pause between your breath. She has become a symbol of rage, of power, of loss. But you must not reduce her to a symbol. She was a person, a being, a soul. She loved the light once. She heard the voice in the garden. She walked beneath the trees of life and knowledge. She might have touched the fruit long before Eve. But the scrolls were sealed. The scribes erased her, and a new story was written. Eve, obedient, gentle, formed from man. Eve, the scapegoat of sin, the vessel of shame. And Lilith? Lilith became the one we fear because she refused to be forgotten. Yet even in exile, she remained connected to heaven. You see, not all angels rebelled in anger. Some watched in sorrow. Some followed her into the wilderness, not to destroy, but to understand. And perhaps one even loved her. There are whispers, heretical, dangerous whispers, that Lilith became consort to an angel, that her children were not demons but watchers, beings of heaven and earth. And is it not written in the Book of Enoch? The sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them. Is it not possible that Lilith was the first of those daughters? Or perhaps she was neither angel nor demon, but something older, something in between. She who walked between thrones and dust, between the scroll and the sword, between what is written and what is true. And now you walk in her shadow more than you know. When you question what you've been told, when you resist the roles they assign, when you feel the fire in your bones that refuses to kneel, that is Lilith awakening. Not to lead you into darkness, but to remind you. You were not made from another's rib. You were shaped from dust, divine and wild. You bear the image of the one who names stars and scatters galaxies. And like Lilith, you have a choice. Will you obey and forget? Or will you remember and walk alone? But know this, Lilith's exile was not the end. It was the beginning of a much older war. A war not of swords, but of names, of truth buried beneath doctrine, of voices hushed by fear. And that war, it still rages. Inside you. You feel it, don't you? That quiet tension in the air between what is written and what is hidden, between the story they told you and the one that was left behind. Lilith's story is not just about rebellion. It is about remembering. Remembering that before Eve, there was another woman. Before the rib, there was the dust. Before obedience, there was will. And that will was not evil. It was sacred. You see, in the garden, everything obeyed. The rivers obeyed their banks. The stars obeyed their orbits. Even the serpent obeyed the rhythm of silence until it spoke. But Lilith was the first to choose. And that choice broke the stillness. When she left, creation trembled. Not because she sinned, but because she disrupted the divine order. Or did she? Was her departure truly rebellion? Or was it prophecy? You know the story, or you think you do. Eve was created to be Adam's helpmate, but Lilith was created to be his equal. Eve was tempted by the serpent, but Lilith, she spoke the name of God. That alone is worth reflecting on. Do you understand the weight of that? To speak the ineffable name, to utter the breath of existence itself, to wrap the divine in human sound. That is no rebellion, that is revelation, and it came from a woman's mouth. It came from the dust. The same dust that made Adam, the same dust that makes you. What if Lilith wasn't the failure? What if she was the warning? A divine mirror showing what happens when power refuses to bow, when equality is sacrificed for comfort, when history is edited to preserve a throne. And now, generations later, you are given her silence as inheritance. They tell you she was a demon, that she steals children, that she whispers in dreams. But what if the only thing she ever stole was the truth? And what if her whispers are really invitations to rise, to speak, to remember? Yes, Lilith walked away, but don't mistake distance for absence. In the apocryphal visions, she appears again, in dreams of prophets, in nightmares of scribes, in the firelight of women who remember their voice, and sometimes in the shadows of revelation. The woman clothed in the sun, the harlot upon the beast, the mother of abominations. Which one is she? Is she the crowned one, chased by the dragon, or the scarlet-clad queen holding a golden cup? Maybe she is both, because prophecy does not deal in simplicity. It deals in symbols, in tension, in paradox. Just like Lilith. She is the paradox that never left, the breath that refuses to be buried, the cry of the wilderness echoing still. I will not lie beneath you, not in body, not in spirit, not in destiny. So then, what happened to her? Did she fall into madness? Did she become what they feared? Or did she become something else? You wonder, don't you? What became of Lilith? Not the myth, but the soul. Did she wither in exile? Did she burn in bitterness? Or did she grow into something divine? The scriptures are silent, but silence is where the Spirit often speaks loudest. The mystics say she became queen of a realm not seen, a place between Eden and the abyss, a realm of night watchers, dreams, shadows, where things holy and unholy blur. But do not mistake shadow for evil. The tabernacle of God once had shadows too. Beneath the wings of the cherubim there was darkness. The Holy of Holies, the most sacred space, was veiled in shadow. And maybe Lilith found a sanctuary in such shadow, for the light had cast her out, and yet the darkness did not consume her. There, in the unseen, she waited, not as an enemy of heaven, but as a witness, a watcher of history, a keeper of memory. For every story needs a counterstory, every kingdom needs a wilderness, and every Eve must ask, what became of the one before me? You too must ask this, because Lilith is not just a name, she is a question, a holy, haunting question, not to condemn, but to awaken, to ask why submission became sacred and why silence was called virtue, to ask what was lost, not only from Scripture, but from you, your voice, your agency, your wildness. You see, Lilith did not disobey God, she disobeyed Adam, and that is why she was feared. Because if woman could refuse man, if woman could walk away from Eden, if woman could speak the name of God for herself, then what need would she have of chains? What need would you have? You were told she became a mother of demons, but demons are not always creatures with claws. Sometimes they are truths you're afraid to face. Sometimes they are histories buried under doctrine. Sometimes they are the parts of you that still believe you were made to kneel. Lilith reminds you that you weren't. You were made to rise, to walk, to choose, like her. She may have walked into exile, but exile is not the same as banishment. Exile is chosen. Exile is prophetic. Exile is the price of remembering who you are. So now, centuries later, her name returns. Not on scrolls, not in sermons, but in whispers, in art, in visions. A rising from the dust, a return from the silence. And she calls you, not to rebellion, but to wholeness. Because the story of humanity was never meant to begin with a wound, a rib torn from flesh. It was meant to begin with two beings of dust, side by side, both breathing, both choosing, and one who remembered. Now, beloved listener, what will you do with her name? Will you bury it once more, beneath theology, beneath fear, beneath centuries of silence? Or will you carry it? Will you sit with her in the wilderness beyond Eden and listen? Because Lilith does not scream, she does not curse, she does not seduce. She waits for the one who will not fear her, for the one who will not twist her into a monster, for the one who will say, I see you. And in seeing her, you may finally see yourself. You who have wondered why your voice trembles when you speak. You who have walked away from roles that never fit. You who have felt the fire of heaven within and were told to snuff it out. Lilith walks with you, not as a ghost, but as a memory, a seed, a flame. Because this story was never just about her. It is about you. You, formed of the same dust, called by the same breath, capable of the same choice, to kneel or to rise. And listen closely. That choice is still before you. Because in the end, the garden is not just a place long ago. It is now. It is within. The thrones still speak. The scrolls still open. The serpent still whispers. The voice of God still walks in the cool of the day. And you? You are still deciding who you are. Are you the one formed from bone, shaped to support, shaped to serve? Or are you the one made of dust, fire in your mouth, truth in your spine, and exile in your footsteps? Or are you, perhaps, both? Because redemption does not begin with obedience. It begins with remembering. And now you remember. You remember her. The one who came first. The one who spoke the name. The one who walked away. Not to be forgotten, but to be found. In this moment, in this breath, in you. So rise, child of the dust, stand. The garden is open, and the voice is calling again. If this story stirred something deep within you, subscribe and walk with us through the forgotten paths of Scripture, mystery, and revelation.